Tell me about today. Is it the end, or is there ever an end?
There's never an end. I mean, if he had gotten life imprisonment, which he put us in, he sentenced us to a life without our sons, it would still not be enough. I mean, we're glad he got 3 years, and I mean, going to the penitentiary, but he needed more for what he did to Todd and Mike. And I mean, they were good boys. They were good boys, and Todd was a very safe driver. They were laughing at my house, saying we're going up to see Dad on his birthday, and they were happy, always happy, those two. And they loved their family. They loved being with their family, and they just didn't deserve it. And the way, I mean, they were set on fire. I mean, we will never forget them. We will always love them, and we can't get over this. We're living in a nightmare. We never thought this would happen to them, because they were doing good in the world. They were helping people. Todd used to show his friends how to do different things, like teach hockey, teach ball hockey, and they're still doing it now. But they said, we would never have thought about it if it wasn't for Todd. And one of his friends said, we thought Todd would live forever because he was such a great guy. And Mike had the biggest heart going. He loved everybody. He'd always put an arm around you if you were sad or anything, and he made you laugh. And we miss them terribly. And nothing will, change the way we feel, and nothing will bring them back. We know that.
If I can, and please stop me if I shouldn't ask this stuff, but you were waiting for the boys to come for the weekend, and it said it was a police officer. If you could talk a little bit about it there. Like, the police officer came to your door and said, "Include the police officer."
Came to her door.
Sorry.
He got a phone
I was up there waiting.
Okay, so the police officer came to the door?
Yeah, it was, what time was it, Nicole? Like after 11?
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't there for that, but yeah, I think you said it was
I
like
think
10:45
I was
or
in
11.
bed anyway, and I heard the door knock, and I thought, oh God, who's here? So I picked up my cell phone in case I had to call somebody. And it was 2 policemen standing there, and my heart just sunk. I knew there was something. And when they said, does your son drive a black truck? And I said, yes. And I could feel my legs going down, right? And they said, he's been in a crash on the 401, and he's dead. And I just fell to the floor. And they said, we're not leaving you like this. Is there anybody we can call? And the police officer called my husband at the cottage.
I'm sorry, where were you then?
I was at home.
In Bowman?
Newcastle. Yeah, they stopped in the house first just to say hi, Mom, hi, Aunt Pauline. We're going up to the cottage to be with our dads and uncles, and I said, have a good time. Mike was carrying his brand new golf club, and Todd was carrying his birthday gift to his father.
Trying to make police sweater.
Is there anything you want to say, like anything, what do you want to say to truck drivers on the highway?
They need better training. They come into this country and they basically pay for their license, and they're on the road behind a weapon. This is a big mass destruction, one of these big trucks. It's just not right. 30 years ago, the truckers were the best drivers on the road. Nowadays, no. It's never enough. It's closure on part of it, but never enough. No matter what.
Tell me, you were to get married.
Yeah, well, we were living together, and I found out after he was killed from April, Mike's fiance, that he had been texting Mike asking him where he should go and buy an engagement ring. And because of how much his mom wanted to have him have a wife and have kids, I figured, and April figured, and his mom, we all figured he was probably going to propose on Christmas, which is his mom's birthday. But I never got to experience that, and I never will.
Tell me about this journey. It's a never-ending journey.
it's not even a journey, it's just a nightmare. Every day I go to sleep alone. Every morning I wake up alone, and then on days like this, all I want is him, and I can't have him, ever. And so I have to come here, and I have to sit and not have my other half holding me and making me feel better because he's the one who's gone. Because someone decided that they would drive recklessly because their getting there sooner was more important than people's lives. And I like to think that Todd and Mike saved some lives that day, being that he was in such a large, brand new, state-of-the-art truck, fully metal. If they weren't there, the cars that were ahead would have been crushed completely and more people would have died. So the 3 years for 2 lives is not enough, because it could have been more lives if it wasn't them. And even with that, it was them, and we have to go now the rest of our lives. I have to go without my partner, without his children, without our home, forever.
Pauline, what would Todd think of the sentence?
He wouldn't. He'd say it wasn't enough because he loved life, and he had plans with Nicole. He had plans with his friends. He made plans for his friends. He wanted everybody to be happy. He wanted to write a book, and because it was all about humor. Nobody had the sense of humor like Todd. He made everybody laugh, and he didn't even, laugh or anything. He just made people laugh just by his antics. And people told me later on, they said, when we met Todd, we knew that we would never forget him. He was unforgettable.
Last question, and forgive me on this one. Singh apologized.
No, I don't. No, I don't believe that, because I believe what Nicole said. He should have written it out himself and handed it to his interpreter and let him read it out.
Well, he should have read it, and the interpreter should have interpreted it.
Yeah, that's right. He should have read it in his own language. The interpreter should have interpreted, and then we would have believed it was.
I don't believe he even wrote it.
No.
I don't even believe he wrote it, because he didn't even want to read it. And if you're that apologetic as he claims to be, he would have read it, and he would have wanted to look at us and read it and apologize. But instead, he passed a piece of paper to the court and said, "Oh, that's my written apology. I care." And there's just no remorse anywhere in him in any of the moments we were in court, ever.
That's good, thank you. April, tell me, it's been a heart-wrenching long journey. Tell me about what this day means.
Closure, I think. I can finally move on with my life. For 3 years I was stuck in limbo, just not knowing where to go from here. I'm still reeling from it. It's never going to be enough. 3 years isn't long enough as far as I'm concerned, but I mean, at least he's serving time in the penitentiary. Where to go from here, not quite sure yet. I'm going to have to take some time and think about what my next steps are. I'm slowly starting to get back to life. I made it to be 4 years on the 3rd of August. It'd be his anniversary of their death. That's going to be a hard day. But it's been a long 3 years, and I'm finally glad it's over. I can take a sigh of relief.
Anything about what Singh said that resonates? Like anything? Like he apologized? Does that?
I mean, he apologized. I thank him for that, but still there was no explanation why he did what he did. I mean, if other truck drivers were able to slow down and saw the oncoming traffic, then why didn't he? I don't think we'll ever have an answer, and I don't think he'll give us one, to be honest.
You think the sentence should have been longer?
Absolutely.
How long?
6 years. But I said no amount of time is going to be for me. We were kind of prepared to expect a lesser sentence, but still, when you hear 3 years, it's a shock, especially with the 2 lives being taken from us. I mean, he'll be in jail longer than Mike and Todd have been dead, to be honest.
And sorry, fiance?
I am, yes, I was. We were scheduled to be married on June 16th, 2018. We had the wedding planned. Like I said in my statement, instead of planning for a wedding, I had to plan for a funeral.